Lions, this is what we do every single week at Thursday at 8 p.m. EST. We're here. We're here to spend time with one another, learn from one another, grow with one another. And of course, I always break it down into three simple words. Three simple words that I always like to preset every single call: brotherhood, blessings, and breakthroughs. The brotherhood between men. For us to look at one another and to be able to support one another. The only time you look down at a man is when you're picking him back up. The blessings, blessings from above, the blessings within yourself. Whatever you believe, just understand when you walk into this lion's den, everyone comes together. It don't matter what you believe, but we come together as one force. And that's a very powerful comment. And of course, the breakthroughs. Maybe something I say, maybe something another lion says. We are all here to learn and grow from each other's experiences. So towards the end, we're going to do some Q&A. We're going to open up the mics. We're going to hear from y'all. We're going to get some questions. We're going to get some comments. We're going to get some thoughts stirring up with what's happening in the world today and also the topic of today. Because today's topic, gentlemen, was quite interesting. You know, I've been planting the seed throughout the week with y'all, and I've been kind of plucking and poking and starting to see, where are the gentlemen at? Where are we at? Where do we want to actually succeed in? Because of course, communication is a very powerful domain of what we do here within the Lions Den. How to perfect the way you speak, one to one, one to few, one to many. But when we also start to understand that the world is very business oriented, money oriented, income oriented, let's apply that, especially for some of the things that are going out right now with real estate markets, finance markets, business markets. How are we as individuals, as my man Cullen would say, packaging and polishing ourselves? That's a very integral moment. So today is all about business. It's going to be about money, and it's going to be really about scaling. And what I really want to get across today, gentlemen, Lions, is 3 business tactics that I've used myself to take on a 6-figure portfolio, grow it to a 7-figure portfolio, and now on the brinks of the 8-figure portfolio. And again, we grow. There's levels to it. There's stepping stones. You don't fucking chase to the end. You don't try to go for 6 steps. You actually stop and say, what's 1, what's 2, what's 3? If you're smart, everyone's trying to chase this dream, this aha moment that they got it all. They got it. But you gotta understand it's slow, steady steps. If you try to just jump to the next platform when you're not ready, guess what's going to happen? You're going to fall, and it's okay. It's called a failure. It's just a lesson, nothing crazy. But when we start to understand this in the game of business, this is where, if you can start to understand, as John Maxwell would say, fail forward, you understand that your failure now is going to set you in motion for the next step if calculated the right way. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. How do you calculate that? How do you calculate your mind to be focused on the right thing? All of the guys that are on this call and all of them that watch afterwards, I want to know whether you're starting up in business. You may be 1 to 3 years. If you're in the 1 to 3 years in business, you're in a starter stage. Then there's the veterans in the room, and the veterans are more like 3 to 10. If you've done at least 3 to 10 years in business, you're at a veteran level. Right. And what's so interesting about that is that 93% of businesses don't pass the 9th year. 93% of businesses do not pass the 10th year. Very interesting fact. But maybe you're just here on the call to listen to one thing, one pivotal moment, one change that could just set your trajectory in the right focus. Now, JC knows what about focus that we were talking about the other day. We were talking about focus. What's your next thought? What's your next thought? And we're going to get into that. You're going to start seeing some incredible content that we're about to release on what's your next thought. I might actually just write a book on what's your next thought. That might be the title to the book, because it was so interesting to see Donald Trump almost being assassinated. But his one other thought changed his head from here to here that saved his life. Interesting fact, body language tells us a lot. We're going to decode that. I'm going to give you some insights on understanding on how you can think and how you can save yourself, just like a week ago, being in a car accident. Could have been dead, but just walked away with some scrapes and bruises. God bless. Just one thought different changed everything. But ultimately, it comes into checking in with you guys to set you free as a lion, because we all start as men. And then we want to understand how to roar as fucking lions. But ultimately, it's about being the respectful kings that we deserve to be. The kings to our own kingdom. The kings to be able to understand that we are here to provide and to protect for our families. We are here to find the most amazing women that want to, one woman, I should say, sorry, I shouldn't say women. That was a little plural. One woman that will come into our world and give us that blessing of children, a next generation, some cubs to be able to take care of, for us to have a family, for us to go as men to work, to be able to strive for excellence, success, happiness, wealth, freedom, all these things that we want. But how the fuck do we do it? What is the sensible, actionable steps? When Cullen and I have been really brainstorming recently, I really love using his example because it's incredible. It's not just the ingredients that you're given nowadays. Everyone's going to give you the ingredients. Everyone's going to get you to a workshop or on a call like this and tell you, here are the ingredients. But then you take the ingredients home and you don't really know what order to do it in. You don't have the recipe book. So you're like, shit, it's good that I got the ingredients from the conference that I spent, $25,000 on, but now I need a cookbook. And if they're smarter, they'll actually double charge you and then get you into being like, here's the steps. But then it's like, I've never done it before. So now I might have the ingredients, I might have the recipe book, but I just want like one time where I can actually see it. I can see it in front of my face. I can visualize it. And when I can visualize it, it's going to give me the confidence that I need to be able to then replicate it. That's where it gets fun. So last week was kind of interesting because last week I got into a car accident. I talked about this last week as well too, because it was one day after. It still showed up. My boy JC and he was driving me to a massage therapy appointment, and all of a sudden we get, this lady runs a red light, T-bones us, like boom. It was bad. But what was interesting about that experience is over the last few days, over the last week, I took that as a challenge on myself because something fucked up happened to even me. You see, I'm in the mindset game. I'm in the coaching space. I'm here to inspire and empower, but something fucked up happened to me. I understood that it was a car accident because I'm a very logical man. I knew that there was going to be lawyers and stuff involved. Great. I then positioned myself in a good way, but something kept flashing inside my eyes. When I would close my eyes or I'd go to sleep, I would just see the headlights, the headlights, the headlights. And it just kept hitting me for some fucked up reason. I'm like, oh, Jay, and I went through these phases. And I'm going to talk about these phases because these phases were really fucked up, because it's the normal common pathway that people will take to rid trauma that happens in their life. So as much as I was last week on the call telling you guys, it sucks, I'm in a brace, I just got hit by a car, I'm standing like this week, I'm not like that, because yes, I have overcome. The lion is coming out. But there was some mental challenges that I was suffered with that really gave me a new perspective of not only just being back in a vehicle, but hearing that noise, feeling that feeling, seeing what I saw. All my senses were ignited at one point. You see, when all 5 senses are ignited at one point, it will create a very strong memory in your subconscious level, in your theta level. And that's what happened. So I started to figure out, I was like, okay, so how do I now decode this? How do I now figure out the steps that I got to take to get over this? And this applies so much to business in the same way that it does for my personal life, because it all came down to step 1, which was mindset, right? That's what everyone teaches us, right? Mindset. But what is mindset? Yes, you can set your mind, but it's really truly the thoughts that you're having, the 450 words per minute that are going through your mind every single minute. And the only 200 to 250 words per minute that you can verbalize if you're speaking as quick as I can. And I usually hit about 286 on average, but I'm still dialecting without even speaking or thinking or even figuring out what I'm going to say next, because I can continue to deliver regardless of what I want to say. But then when we have those thoughts, how do we control them? How do we control those thoughts? How do we get them into perspective? How do we get them in front of us instead of on top of us? For those of you that are writing notes, here's your first point of tonight's lesson and notes. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is a key component to understanding what does that actually mean for me? Not what it means to the world, not what it means by dictionary.com. What does self-awareness mean for you? How are you taking the time to know when I was in an accident, boom, I felt fucked up. Like physically, I was fucked up, sure, but I'd walked away with scratches and bruises. Like I was, God bless. I could have been dead. I could have been way worse. I could have been broken, everything. There's so many things that could have went wrong. God blessing. I just walked away with scratches, but I was mentally fucked up. And I had to own that. I had to admit that to myself in order to seek help for it. And that's why I did this whole 4-day Instagram reel story of 4 different avenues that I took, and I tried everything. I was like, how am I going to be able to rid this trauma within 72 hours of me getting into a car accident? And I drive supercars, and my dream would ultimately to be a race car driver if I was not a businessman. If I had trillions of dollars, I would just race cars. Honestly, I think that would be the craziest. I'm like Felipe in that sense, right? Like that's where my adrenaline comes in. My adrenaline comes in and like get me in behind a car. But all of a sudden that just got tested. My entire dream just got contested. I was fucked up, so I had to reach out for help. I reached out to help from my queen. I called my queen. I was like, baby, she was the first call I made. I'm sitting on the side of the road. My head, I was like, shit, man. Like they're telling me my blood pressure's dropping. Ambulance is coming. They're going to take me to the hospital. I'm just calling my baby. My baby's like, shut up. You're joking. And I was like, baby, I'm not fucking joking right now. I just got into an accident. It's real. She's like, oh my God. She's in a session right now with her coach. She's like, oh my God. That was the first person that I relied on, my queen. Then I was like, okay, now I need help. I need help from my team because my team is relying on me every single day to show up. They're relying on me every single day to show up, to take the business to the next level so that they get their paychecks. But ultimately, we get to continue our dream and our vision. So now I got to own up to that. I got to say, hey, team, I need some help. I need some support. Then I was like, family. And my mom is distraught. And she's like, oh, my Lord. She's calling me up. And she's a sweet woman. Honestly, the sweetest woman you'll ever meet in your entire life. And you got to take care of the family. You got to get the family to be there. They got to understand. They gotta still be like, okay, he didn't die. Like, that's a hard thing to do with parents. They're like, I just sent you, like, you're across the world. Like, I can't even be with you. And then it was even my clients. Some of you that are on the call. I had to call you up throughout the week. Hey guys, man, like I can't make that meeting. I got to reposition because there was times throughout the week that killed me. There was times that I had to come on this call last week and share to my brothers. Gentlemen, we all have people in our worlds in different categories and different placements. But if you cannot get self-aware with who you are in those placements, it doesn't make sense. We have these groups in work. We have these groups in family. We have these groups in our personal life. But are we actually taking control of being self-aware of who we are in every single one of those groups? Or maybe are we putting a mask on for different groups? When I'm with my family, I'm just acting like I'm just a respectful gentleman and I'm good to go because yeah, dad, I'm making money. Yeah, man, I'm good. You get to the barbecue and you're like, yeah, I'm doing great. When you get to the coworkers, you're like, no, we're crushing it, man. Let's go. Let's push it. Next goal. Let's do it. Maybe with your friends and you're like, oh shit. He's like, oh, he bought the new fucking Maserati. It's like, great shit. No, I can't. None of that matters. None of that competition comparison shit matters. The only thing that matters is you being self-aware of who you are, the lion that you are and the lion that you deserve to be. Now, when we step into the second component, the second component gets a little bit deeper now. The second component gets a little bit deeper because now we start to talk about system. And when you hear system, you're like, okay, Jay, system. What do you mean system? There's a lot of systems out there. But when I'm talking about systems, is a different system than the organizational initiatives that we usually do here at Next Gen. I'm talking about system in terms of your emotions. Your emotions. You ever thought about the system that you have? I always talk about the 7 common emotions that humans feel. One is positive. Joy is the only positive emotion that humans feel. We got 6 others, negative, negative. We got fear, we got sadness, we got anger, we got contempt, we got surprise, and we got disgust. We got 6 other common emotions that are very, very negative every single day. So what is the really core to that? It's organization, right? It would be organization. How could I organize my emotions and have a proper systematic approach to be able to then mitigate these types of experiences that I have every single day? Well, again, for those that are making notes, here's your second point: self-structure. Where self-awareness becomes step 1, self-structure now becomes step 2. When I talk about self-structure, I mean, what is your day? What's the day in the life of? Day in the life of Jay Dahan. Imagine how that feels, eh? Trust me, there's ups, there's downs. I can't tell you that it's all sunshine and fucking rainbows. Life don't work like that. But self-structure now comes down to the calendarization of who you are. How are you calendarizing yourself? How are you allocating the time, the 24 hours in a day, the 1,440 minutes, the 86,400 seconds that you have in a singular day? How are you prioritizing that? And when are you ready to quit? When are you ready to quit? When are you ready to quit? Because most of us say we're busy. Most of us say we're busy. I ask people all the time. I'm like, yo, yeah. Should we do this? Oh, what's going? Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. This excuse of being busy doesn't make sense to me, because busyness comes down to show me your calendar. Show me your calendar. How busy really are you? Are you quantifying your time? Do you have self-structure? Like, I'm going to show you guys this right now. Like, I'll just pull it up on my phone. I'm very proud of this. My team is very proud of this as well too. Actually, they hate me for it because of how much I instill into it, but that's tomorrow's calendar. I don't know if you guys can see that right now. That's tomorrow's calendar. That starts at 4 a.m. and that goes all the way to about 9:30 at night. Calendarization. How are you focusing your time and attention? I know we got to go travel. I know we got to be with family. I know we got to do business. I know we got to juggle all these things like they're freaking flaming torches, and we're going like this, and we're on a circus show on repeat. And it's just like, yo, I'm tired, man. I just want to go into the break room right now. I just want to go step back there for a couple of minutes and just like relax for a second, because I'm tired of throwing these flaming torches up, because one wrong move, and guess what? You might just screw the whole thing over. Right? It's not even like it's one sliver could just ruin everything, because that's what happens in life when you have family, when you have business, when you have everything. Now, when I look at a calendar, I'll tell you right now, we'll go back to those 24 hours. Here's a good takeaway that I just came on my head right now, is I want you guys to think of it like this. 8 hours is you sleeping. 8 hours is you working. 8 hours, you have no idea what time you're using that for. Simple principle. Then you get to entrepreneurship, right? When that's the corporate system, right? Then you get to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is 16-8. That means I sleep for 8 hours and then I work for 16 hours. And if you're an entrepreneur world, that means double the hours and half the pay. Because you're getting half the pay for double the hours now. So you have to step into that lull moment in the middle, right? But what happens is the third step that I finally have been able to decode over the tens of years that I've been able to spend in personal development and entrepreneurship: 6, 6, 6, 6. Very interesting. 4 6s in a row, making that 24 hours gives me what? 6 hours for personal, 6 hours professional, 6 hours financial, and 6 hours family. Brandon Dawson originally created this with PPF, personal, professional, financial. I now have added the most important layer to the end, which is the end, because it does have to come last, unfortunately. Even though your family is first, no matter what happens, But gentlemen, you have to be selfish in a certain extent in order to be selfless towards being able to take care of those that you love. But when you have personal, my first 6 hours are all divulged on me in my zone, taking care of myself, making sure that I'm in check with my organization. I'm hitting the gym, I'm showering, I'm cleaning myself up, I'm hitting my internal morning routine, I'm setting up my team's calendars, I'm doing what I need to do in that 6 hours. My professional 6 hours, I'm working on the business, not in the business. I'm working on being able to structure systems and put the right people in place and have a team meetings and being able to structure now the angles of making sure that my team is doing what they need to be doing. Then the next 6 hours, financial. This is a good one. I'm on sales calls. I'm calling people. I'm understanding that this is a game of numbers. I got to go out there and do something. I can't just hope and faith and say money's going to come from the sky. So I have 6 hours a day on financial, and the last 6 hours of my day is my family. I come home, I do what I want. I live the way greatest. I love my woman. I play with my dog when I get the chance to. Maybe I take some time and go meet the boys for a nice night. Maybe I take my girl for a date night. It's my hours in the evening that I hold true to myself. And when you can start breaking this down, gentlemen, self-structure becomes extremely powerful. And this now leads me, of course, to what do you do with that now? See, if you've got the self-awareness and you're able to help yourself get to the right mindset, and then you have the self-structure that gives you really the system, what could really be the third and final pinnacle? It's the people. It's the people. Because money isn't everything, and most people chase money, and when they get enough money, then they say, no, it's not about money, it's about time, the most valuable commodity. But when you have money and time, it becomes people. People become everything. Felipe knows a lot about that, traveling the world right now. He knows a lot about how people are more important than anything to do with money and time. Right, my man? I can't wait to hear from you in a bit here, man. But I'll tell you, people are everything. But like Jay, okay, people, great. What do I do with people? It's the connections. How are you connecting with people? Are you just saying, hey, what's up, man? What do you do? Are you saying, hey, man, how are you? Or are you saying, hey, who are you? Those are three very distinct, different questions right there that can lead a conversation in different ways. But that ultimately gets to, if I got people, I got connections, how do I actually make deals? Like, how do I actually make deals now? How do I actually construct the right connections together and foster deals? Bring John and Joe together, and all of a sudden they do something great, but that now also got me into the game by doing something even greater, whether it was experience or a commission. But I still set people up. How do I now quantify that? How do I get out there now and actually start making deals where I meet somebody at the bar, and all of a sudden, this is actually a true story. Literally just last week, I met a guy at the bar, and this is going to be a prime client of ours now within the Next Gen Wealthy infrastructure. He's running an incredible business right now. He's hit himself at about the 40K a month, like plateau, and he wants to now scale to 100K a month. And I'm like, this is the systematic approach that our company can do. Boom, boom. All of a sudden, one conversation took to, hey, man, Jay, I'm going to buy you a drink, man. I was like, I appreciate that. Boom. And all of a sudden, boom. The connection, the deals. How do you make the deals? This is your third and final point. It's not the self-awareness now. It's not the self-structure. It's the self-worth. You see, the self-worth now is understanding how to sell versus connect. How to understand someone's actual needs and internal thoughts and feelings versus being able to convince somebody, manipulate somebody to swiping a credit card and saying, this is the product for you. This is that magic eraser. And by the way, if you order now, guess what else you get? Oh, and if you order right now, I'm also going to give you that one. Because our world has turned into that, hasn't it? Hasn't it? Every fucking swipe we do, somebody selling this, somebody selling that. When is it actually the mindset for us to actually give back? But when I say that, gentlemen, here's a very key point of view right now that I'll tell you is over the years that I've learned, this is probably the golden egg that you will need to understand just in this call. I have a product that is $1 and I have a product that's $100,000. Do you? How can you transact $1 and how do you transact $100,000? And yet we wake up every single day and we say, I want to become a millionaire. I want to do something. I want to make money. I want to grow my business. I want to be a successful entrepreneur. What is your product? What is your service? What is your charge back? What is that charge back? If you were to be able to sell somebody an item and they say, guess what? I'm going to charge that back. And all of a sudden, boom, that goes in. What can you afford? What can you afford? Because the way that you buy is the way that you sell. If you buy, like I'm going to spend 25,000. Okay, you spend 25,000. Now you can actually go out into the world and say, I expect to make 25,000. That's called the law of the lid. John Maxwell talks about that in a leadership perspective, but I will tell you that in a law of lid for price point on what you can charge. You can only charge what you have paid. So what is the highest ticket coaching that you've ever paid for? Think about that. What's the highest ticket? That's where you're at. That's where you're at. And when I talk about this, guys, you know, I always love this because I'm a huge 10X believer and I love everything 10X. 10X has actually set me into a catalyst mindset over the last couple of years because I've been able to really hone in that vibe of 10Xing. 10X my mindset, 10X my growth, 10X my income. But what it's really actually got me to understand is how the system is also failing. How we are just selling workshops and how we are just selling coaching programs. And I'm not for that. Colin and I were talking about this earlier today, and we were just like, look, how do we give as much value up front so somebody can understand who you are first before what you do? And this is a very powerful mantra that we're creating. And JC, I'm going to bring you in here for a quick second because JC wanted to, chat with you guys for a little bit and just share something with you. But before I let him do that, I just want y'all to understand that we are a brotherhood here. There's a lot of different things that are happening externally in the world, events, people, places, things, opportunities, upsets, downsets. But when we come here in the Lion's Den, we do our own thing. We come together as men that really want to understand that power to be lions and to ultimately become the kings that we deserve. And that's why we put this together. It's not for me, it's for us. Connections now in not only just being able to do business with them, but it's like being able to actually connect with them, like going out there and actually experiencing that, being at the DJ tables, looking over and actually experiencing the crowd, going afterwards and actually like those memories are what's going to build the actual experience and that relationship. It's not going to be like, okay, how do we collaborate now? How do we now come out with a track, or how do we do this? That stuff will come. That'll come in time. It's just really being able to build that relationship. And you're an example of that, man. What you're missing right now is this. Is giving yourself a pat on the back. Do it for me right now. Do it for me right now, brother, on this. Yeah. What you're missing right now is just taking a little bit of credit for what you've already been able to accomplish, giving yourself a bit of that actual energy, flowing into that, and then saying, okay, what's my next thought? Like, what is it that I actually want to pursue now? Just stop thinking about all the external noises and everyone telling you all the bullshit, family, friends, everyone. They're going to give you all their advice. But understand just yourself focused. What's your next thought? One thought at a time. Us men are more prone to this than anything else. Women can at least do simultaneously a few of them, but us men, one thought at a time. So just allow that to be one thought at a time. So I just want to give you that advice of just like, you're doing good. You're in an incredible place. Start to find the right resources around you. Be on calls like this, get in connection with some of the lions that are on the call here right now. Find some good mentorship to give you that guidance, and it'll start giving you a very good platform over the next couple of years to set you into your 20s the right way. I want to say, guys, thank y'all for being here. And I don't thank you all for being here because of me. I thank y'all for being here because this is the time and effort that it takes for you to develop yourself in the perspective that you want to. Go find the right resources. Go be a part of the right groups. Understand what we've talked about today. understand the different types of self-structure. Like self-structure was my favorite one, but self-awareness, of course, is number one. Self-awareness, self-structure, and then being able to understand your self-worth is going to set you apart in this world. So this week, gentlemen, I want you to go out there in the world and really feel the power that you know that you have inside. Like that lion energy, like would a lion back down? No, a lion wants to roar. So go out there this week with the energy to roar. And then we will see each other again next Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. God bless y'all. I cannot wait to see y'all next week. And if there's anything you need, be a part of the community, download the app, text us, call us. Next Gen, Lions Den, Jay Dahan, my team, we're here for y'all. God bless. I'm going